I have a favourite restaurant, and it's not favourite because it's fancy, but it is favourite because of one particular meal that I just get excited about when I get ready to go to this restaurant. And that is that this restaurant makes the best pepper steak on planet Earth. And I cannot wait to get there. So when I'm close to this country town where this restaurant is, I start to get, my mouth starts to get ready. I'm just like itching for this pepper steak. I arrive at the restaurant, they give me a seat, they offer me a menu, and I say, well, yeah, I'll take a menu, I'll have a look, but I know what I want already. And I tell them I want the pepper steak. So they take my order, and then there's this time period where I'm sitting and I'm waiting. And every moment that it gets closer to arrival, the more excited I get, because this pepper steak is sensational. And then it finally arrives in front of me, and I start to cut it, and it actually almost falls apart. It's so tender and so beautiful, and it's just a meal that actually I want one now because I'm talking about it. But it is so wonderful. But it takes time to prepare a beautiful pepper steak. And it takes time to prepare you to be all that you can be. It takes time. It takes time to renew the mind. It takes time to create new neural pathways. It takes time to create habits that will actually transform our lives. Now we know, science has proven, we know that we can actually rewrite our brains. We can actually create new, more positive habits that transform the way we think and transform our lives. We know that, but it's not instant. And we get so hooked in our culture on wanting it instant. You know, can it all be sorted with a prayer? Can it all be sorted with one moment of good intentions? But it doesn't actually work that way. When you think about it, in my case, it took me 23 years of really poor thinking before I started to change even. And that's not going to be fixed overnight. That takes time. But I want to encourage you that you were never meant to be like a throwaway type fast food burger of little nutritional value. You are actually meant to be a beautiful pepper steak that takes time to prepare. So as we continue on the journey of renewing our mind and transforming the way we think, understand that this is actually a process of time. It's not instant, it can't be instant, and in the end, it's actually really good that it isn't instant. You won't win every battle along the way, but that's actually not the goal. The goal is to win the war in the end. There's this ancient passage, this ancient text that's probably around 2,000 years old, and it actually tells us that we can be transformed by the renewing of our mind. What is fascinating is science has sort of just caught up over the last 20, 30 years with this ancient text, showing with all the things we've learned about neuroplasticity and how we can rewrite our brains. We've actually caught up, because this ancient text, if you pull it apart and look at the word structure and what was it all about, it actually talks about we're able to change our mind. We're actually able to go through a metamorphosis. Now, when you hear of the word metamorphosis, I don't know, I think of things like butterflies. I think of a grub crawling into a cocoon, creating this cocoon, and then going through this process of change, because a metamorphosis is this. It's starting out at one point, going through a process of change and coming out at something completely different in the end. As we want to do when we're rewriting our brains. We've started at one point, then we go through a process of change to come out at something completely different. But there's the struggle in the process of change, which is where we actually find it hard. It's the struggle, it's the pushing. But if we use like the grub, cocoon, butterfly analogy, it's actually the pushing through the metamorphosis process creates the strength for the butterfly to actually fly. It pushes the colors into its wings, it pushes the blood flow into its wings. It's the struggle that produces the magnificent thing in the end. And you know what? It's exactly the same with you and with me. It's the fight. It's the struggle. It's the continuing to create the habits, to continuing to rewrite the mind. It's these struggles that will actually produce the ability for us to be something that we were created to be, beautiful and soaring to the heights that we can soar. So come with me on this journey. Don't expect that you're going to win every battle, but know that in the end you will win the war. Sometimes you'll feel like you're in that cocoon, and you're fighting your way out, know that it's in the process of that you're actually becoming stronger and becoming better equipped to be who you were actually always meant to be. It's an exciting journey and well worth taking.